Hello.
Hey Jay, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you, Andrew? Good to
I
see you.
am good. It's good to talk to you again. It's been a little while since we've chatted,
Yeah,
so
man.
it's great to see you looking happy and healthy.
Yeah, likewise. Likewise. Good to be
Thank
with
you.
you here.
So you're here with Infectious Grooves in like under a month. How
Yeah, man.
how, how the hell did you get in that band? Who gave you the call?
Mike Muir gave me the call and was seeing if I would be ready, recovered enough from my surgery and available and interested to do it. And I said yes to all the above. Yeah, I was so thrilled to get that call. Um, obviously not knowing that they had infectious on the mind, but he approached me that they had this window of time to play, and I was like, I'm there, whatever it takes. At the time I was still on crutches. um so I had to kind of look into the future and predict that I'd be, well enough to play drums and to play drums up to the standards of the Infectious Grooves, and I'm pleased to say that we're kicking ass so far.
That's awesome, man. So as you said, you did have surgery late last year. So for those people that don't know, can you explain what the surgery was?
Sure. So I had a torn labrum in my left hip, which was the result of a misshapen bone, my femur bone, as it goes into my left hip. It was misshapen, so there was excess bone, and the main activity that caused this injury was running. Drumming never affected it, thankfully, but it was a lot of running. And then when I was younger, I would kickbox, and that motion deteriorated my labrum to the point where I would about the summer of 2018. I would go for a run, and like 5 minutes into a run, I'd have this unbearable pain on my left side. And I didn't know what it was from until I had an X-ray and an MRI that showed to me that as a professional, as a doctor who specializes in this, explained to me, he's like, look, I see this all the time. It's just a bone growth that ends up, bashing up against your labrum, and that's painful. So what they did was they went in and reattached the labrum, shaved down part of my femur. Um, and so yeah, so I've just been recovering from that. And yeah, I've wanted to do this surgery for about 6 years, but it's just been a matter of finding the window of time in a very rigorous touring and recording schedule, because it's not easy, as a drummer, to say like, hey, I need between 4 to 6 months to recover fully from this surgery to get back to, drumming the way I do, because it is so physical. Even just after being on crutches for 6 weeks, I realized like, oh man, I lost like so much muscle. I lost a lot of power. So now, I mean, I started my physical therapy the very next day. And so I've just been doing physical therapy for the last 3.5 months, pretty much every day. And yeah, just getting back to it. So now I've been back on my drums for about a month. It was my goal to be back on drums by mid-March, and then like playing at full capacity by like mid-April. So thankfully, with sticking to the physical therapy regimen that I've been on, I've been able to be ahead of schedule, and I've been back to playing drums for about a month. So much so that we've gotten some practices in with Infectious Grooves. We were in the studio this past weekend making a new song.
Yep.
And so yeah, I'm very pleased that it's going along great so far.
So for people that want to have a quick look at what you are doing in the way of your recovery on your Instagram, you've got a great video of your physical therapy. I can see you're on like a reformer machine and things like that. Is that really important that you do that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it's, and I got the advice from people. This is my first surgery I've ever had, first like major surgery. Um, so I had the advice of people who have had surgeries before, and the thing that they always say is just like do the physical therapy, be consistent with it. Because if you're not, then you run the risk of, you develop the scar tissue, the joint might lock up, that'll be uncomfortable. you know, all those pitfalls can be avoided by doing the physical therapy. And
Yep.
it's just, you know, yeah, it became a new part of my life. You know, it became that was kind of like my full-time job, really, was to
Yep.
just recover. So yeah, you know, initially, yeah, I was in that machine. It's called a continuous passive motion machine. And you put your leg in it and just helps break up scar tissue by keeping your leg moving. And I was in that for about a month and a half. I was in that thing for like 4 hours a day. You know, and yeah, it's tedious. You know, it's not easy, especially being somebody who likes to be active all the time. You know, I like to be moving around. I like to just be a busy person. To all of a sudden be just totally, you know, kind of not able to move. And when I do move, I was on crutches for 6 weeks. That was difficult.
Yep.
But you know, I always had it in mind where it's like there's a big goal of like recovering, getting back to playing with people and you know, doing what I love doing the most. And so yeah, to bring it back to, you know, how this relates to infectious, to receive that call from Mike while I'm, you know, essentially bedridden
Yeah.
and he was just kind of wondering, he's like, are you good enough? Like, are you like at your recovery? Like, are you far along enough in your recovery to where you'd be able to do this? And I wasn't even totally sure. You know, I had to consult my doctors and my physical therapist, but like they were like, yeah, by mid-March you're gonna be good. So I was like, all right, I'm in. I'll do it. I'm totally excited to do this.
Now I've got to ask, does this change any kind of warm up, warm down routine? Like when you're going to be out on the road, like how you're going to maintain, you know, peak health after a surgery?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll change it that much, but it'll just be that I stick to, you know, how I prepare. You know, I do like to prepare the best I can. My experience right now is that like I can deliver on the power that I need to and that I like to on the drums. Like I have a way that I like playing the drums, and that's, you know, that's not changing anytime soon. But I with like the muscle I lost, with the, you know, the power that I feel like I lost, I can still deliver it, but I'm much more sore afterwards.
Yep.
uh so that's just understandable, and like I have to just be patient with myself, which I'm not, that doesn't come to me easily, you know, but yeah, so I just have to be aware of, you know, what playing does to me physically, and you know, yeah, it does make me sore, but that's just about getting that muscle back and getting back in the groove, and you
Yep.
know, for me, literally back in the groove. But you know, it's all just like muscle memory that comes right back, and that adrenaline takes over, the excitement of performance takes over. um so yeah, I'm really thrilled at you know, the opportunity that's in front of me with these guys. But no, it doesn't really change how I'll approach doing it. It just kind of
Yep.
confirms to me that like what I do is, you know, those are the necessary things to be, you know, to be a drummer, to play high energy music at a high level, but you know, to take care of myself physically. It just kind of reconfirms all the things that I do, that it's like I have to just stick to that.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever think you'd see the day when you're in a rhythm section with Rob Trujillo?
No, but I can tell you it's an absolute dream come true. I mean, like Rob, he's such a an amazing person, and I mean, we all watch and marvel at what he does on the bass. So to be a drummer, you know, locking in with him and just sliding right into the pocket with him is like, it's an absolute dream. I mean, for me, it feels like the first time we got into a jam room, it felt like I was like flooring a Ferrari. I mean, I'm
Wow.
looking at him and I'm like, I've never seen anybody do the things that he does. It's like
Yep.
it's truly incredible. So yeah, I'm as a drummer and you know, locking in with him on bass is like, I mean, I'm very fortunate to be able to be a part of this, and like yeah, I'm really enjoying playing with Robert, that's for sure.
Even in the rehearsal videos you guys have posted, he just can't stand still. It's
Yeah,
like a
man.
mini gig for him.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like always the way that I've approached, practice too. It's like I always learn even back when I was playing sports as a kid, like, the way you practice is the way you play, So
Yes.
like I've always kind of looked at practice as the way to like this is, obviously there are elements that are enhanced and kind of put, the dials are turned all the way up for the
Yeah.
actual live performance, but I feel like there's the roots of all the performance are right there in practice. Like I'm not playing any differently in a practice than I would during a show. I've never really approached practice mode that way, or in a way that's like less than that, no matter what, no matter who I'm playing with, I always warm up for practice the same way. I feel beat up after a practice just the same way I feel beat up after playing a show,
Yep.
like it's always the same to me. So yeah, like when we're feeling it in the jam room, I absolutely respond to that, and I resonate with that because he's approaching it the exact same way that I do. Those are fun, like unspoken things that happen when you meet kind of kindred spirits and the people that you're playing with. You have this unspoken bond, and that's such a great thing about music is that like Robert and I we've met over the years here and there, but then all of a sudden when we're in a jam room we don't need to really like speak or anything. We just let the instruments do the speaking, with us, and that's just like a really tremendous experience so far.
That's awesome. Now, had you worked with or met Dave Kushner before at all?
No, I hadn't met Dave. We have a lot of mutual friends. But no, we hadn't met. Obviously, I'm familiar with his work with Velvet Revolver. I'd seen him play with Velvet Revolver a long time ago. But no, we kind of just met. It felt like, first day at school, kind of like meeting my
Yep.
new classmates in a way, that was really exciting and super cool. That's been a blast playing with him. And Dean and Mike as people know, like I've known those guys a long time, from touring with Suicidal
Yep.
years ago. So yeah, just like this whole group has been incredibly welcoming and so kind and generous, and just like it's all positive vibes, and I'm just like so thankful that they considered me to come along for this ride. It's a true honor.
Now, you said that you've been in the studio, you've done one new song. Is the intent to keep going with it that you know of and knock more out before everyone goes away, like Rob goes back to Metallica and things like that?
We'll see. I mean, for myself, I'm absolutely open to that, and I had such a fun time, and I'm continuing to have such a fun time with these guys that I would love to pursue that if that was something that they wanted to do. I'm so new to it that I'm just here with fresh-faced excitement and energy. But really, the idea for the song was born out of just how excited we are for the tour, that it was kind of like hey, let's make something new to have when we go out and play. So that's where that came out of, and we've accomplished that, and we're getting the song ready now, and I'm so thrilled with it. It was a blast to be in the studio with these guys. Um, so we'll see. I mean, it was such a fun time in the studio doing one song. Why not? It would stand to reason we'd have a lot of fun putting together more songs, and that's that's their call, if they're interested in that and interested in having me along for that, I'd be totally down. But right now there's a lot to focus on with just the tour coming up, and having created one new song together is
Yeah.
very that's cool in and of itself. So we'll see. I'd be down for it, but we'll just have to see.
Awesome. Now, people may not know, but are you partnered with Mixwave?
That's
Can you
right.
tell me about your Mixwave project?
Yeah, I'm really excited. So together with the company Mixwave, we've developed a virtual drum set, which is basically a way to give anybody access to my recorded drum sounds the way I like them. All kind of tailored to my preference, what people might know me from. Uh, it's a complete, like unbelievably well-rounded, comprehensive virtual instrument, and to illustrate that, it's like it's my entire library of all the snares that I own, multiple kick drums that I own, a whole laundry list of cymbals that I love, and basically it's for anybody to use as a drum library, as a sample library. If you're a fan of the way my drums sound, and you're making, whether that's your own demos at home, or I mean, I'd be happy to have these on final recordings. Truth be told, like it's the guys at Mixwave have done an unbelievable job in capturing my sound, and more than my sound, but just like my entire personality in what's ostensibly, a plugin, a recording plugin, and I'm so happy with it. And they do an amazing job. I knew they would do a great job with this because of how well they've done it with other drummers who are, my friends and peers. They've done an amazing job with those guys. So that's why I knew, I was like, this is the team that I want to work with. And it's been an unbelievable journey so far. And they see every aspect of customization to it that's possible. So, like, in designing like the interface for the plugin, I could do whatever I wanted. So I wanted my dog in there, right? And so I sampled my dog barking all the way from like her quietest bark to her loudest bark. And she's a playable instrument, just like any snare drum or rack tom or floor tom or cymbal or whatever. She's right there. You can click on her and she barks at you when you click on her. Um, that kind of those things are really fun, and it showcases the personality of the drummers that they're representing. So yeah, it was a blast to develop that with Mixwave. And it'll be a work in progress. Like there are still more things that I want to add to it. I've gotten another dog since then, so of course I need to
Excellent.
add my other dog
Yep.
as a drop down option for it. But yeah, it's really, really cool, to be able to add, as I see fit, kind of to my drum arsenal, things that I think people can use as their own tools. It's awesome. And I've heard so many recordings with my mixed wave drums on them, and it's like it's a total honor to be able to like I get to play on so many people's recordings, and I might not even know it. I might not even know if I'm like hearing something that then it has my drums on it or something like that. And then like technically I've kind of played on it or
Yep.
whatever. It's really cool. So yeah, it's been a blast working with Mixwave. Absolutely.
Well, just make sure that you get your third if people use it on a final recording.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do the change your word, get a third. It's a drum part.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Okay, now beyond your own signature snare, what's your favorite snare you own?
My favorite snare that I own besides my signature. Oof. That's a tough question. I don't have like an inordinately huge collection of
Yep.
stuff. Like I have most of my stuff behind me here. I have two Tama Bell brass snares that I really love. One from the late 80s and one from the early 90s that I was able to get from some friends who were selling theirs. It's just such a hard to find snare drum, and they actually just released like I think it was like a 50th anniversary version of the Tama Bell brass. They're absolutely incredible drums. uh Bunch of the records that I've made in the last 10 years, I've used predominantly Tama Bell brass snares in the studio. Just a phenomenal snare drum. So yeah, I'm very partial to the signature drum that I developed with SJC. But I like playing around and excuse me, trying different stuff, and the Tama Bell brass is pretty special.
Awesome. Now I can see a bunch of art supplies behind you, and I know you paint,
Yeah.
and you've gone to conventions and sell your art. So, what's your favorite particular style of art to do?
I quite like oil painting, even though it's very painstaking. It's a very long, drawn out process. Any painting that I do takes like in the ballpark of like 100 hours to complete. But it is very meditative in that way. I get to really, I have my more like kind of abstract, kind of inky, watercolory kind of stuff, and that's been a lot of the basis of like the drums that I've designed for myself. Has been more of quick watercolor and ink and spray paint and collage kind of stuff. But my preferred, like I love getting lost in building a painting that takes a lot of time to commit to, and those are the larger scale oil paintings. I did a my debut art exhibit called A Hollow Realm in 2022, and I was really, really happy with that. It was like 8 years of my oil paintings. Finally got to actually display them all in one place. That was really cool. It's difficult to find the time to commit to creating a body of work like that. Um, but I intend on doing more of that soon for sure. It's a huge, great outlet for me. And yeah, but oil painting is like it takes a lot, but it's also very rewarding and gives a lot back.
Do you think about doing like custom skins and having them for sale at the merch booth, like custom painted skins?
I've done some stuff like that. I mean, I've done custom painted snare drums, like
Yeah,
entire drums before. And yeah, I've done stuff on drum heads before. It's cool. Some like other friends of mine, like Mario DePontier, is a good friend of mine, and he does incredible work painting on us on drum heads. Um, so I hesitate to try to do it just because he's the man and he does
yeah.
it like he paints on drum heads better than anybody. Um, but if I have a calling to try that, yeah, for sure. I'd love to I don't know, any surface that you can make your own and inject some of your character into it, I think is a great opportunity. That's why I like, having my own artwork on my drums because it's like, why
Yeah.
not? Why wouldn't I, try to extend my personality to the actual instrument? But yeah, so someday for sure, yeah, I'd love to do a series on drum heads. That'd be cool.
Awesome. Um, Now you're playing Bluesfest. You're also doing your headline shows.
Yeah.
So besides Infectious, what is the rest of 2024 looking like for you so far?
There's a lot of stuff, really exciting stuff that I can't disclose just yet, but we'll be announcing soon. It's become a tremendously busy year for me,
Great.
all of a sudden, and I'm very thankful and very excited about that. Doing a lot of stuff where I get to kind of finally stretch out a little bit and do things that are different and do that I haven't done in a long time, or if ever. A lot of opportunities that I just haven't had before. Ways to, explore versatility in my drumming and do different things. Infectious is a great example of doing something that, feels familiar, but is enough of a challenge, in a very specific type of music. It all falls within the kind of very energetic rock and roll music that I've always loved playing, but it is specific in the funk elements and
Yeah.
how that kind of, hybridizes with the punk and metal and hardcore kind of ways that it does. That's important. And I love challenging myself like that. I like to try to take something that I'm not so comfortable in and become comfortable in it. So this year there's plenty of that. I'm intent to do a lot more independent stuff than I have before. A lot of clinics that I'm really looking forward to doing this year. In a way of kind of like looking ahead while at the same time kind of giving a little bit of a more intimate look at the twists and turns of my career thus far,
Yeah.
um, to where a lot of people, I've received a lot of feedback how people are kind of like, they see Slipknot on one hand and Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band on one hand. And it's like, how do you, manage to go from one to the next? And to me, it all kind of comes from the same place and
Yep.
approaching all styles of music that I'm drawn to from a place of authenticity and sincerity. Um, I think that'll be a really fun way to kind of show how all this stuff comes from the same place. So I'm really looking forward to doing the clinics that I'll be doing this year, as kind of breaking down that process of approaching all these styles of music and all these things that I've done over the last 20 years. Um, and how it all kind of makes sense together, even though you can like look at it all and be like, how does any of that stuff connect? I kind of I like showing people how you can partake in all of it.
Yeah.
um and it all comes from kind of the same artistic place if you let it. So yeah, so some exciting things that are about to be announced. It's too bad we're actually not speaking like a week from now because there's some stuff coming out next week that'll be very exciting to talk about. But there's plenty excitement within the infectious camp that like right now I'm just kind of fully concentrated on that for it being the best that it can be.
So let's just say a week from now, people want to find out the info. Plug your socials so they know where they've got to go.
Sure, yeah. I'm on all social media stuff. Like you can,
Yep.
Google my name and it'll come up.
Yep.
Yeah, Instagram and Facebook and all that sort of stuff. It'll be on all that sort of
Excellent.
stuff. So, we'll see. It's gonna be really exciting. I'm pumped for for all this opportunity ahead this year. It's kind of overwhelming in a sense,
Yep.
but I'm just incredibly grateful to to be a part of this community, this music culture that I love being a part of so much, and the fact that this has already turned into a very busy year is kind of incredible. And to start it off with Infectious, I can't think of a better way.
That's awesome. So, Jay, I'm going to let you go. Um,
Cool.
I look forward to seeing you in Brisbane. Hopefully, we can cross paths without a computer screen. It'll be great.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. See you
so,
there.
yeah, I'll be at the Fortitude show, which will be
Awesome.
it's an amazing venue. You'll absolutely love it. It's
Yeah, I can't wait.
brand new state of the art venue. Great sound, great room. Especially for your
Awesome.
drums, they'll be vicious in there.
I can't wait. We're
Okay,
looking
man.
forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch up with you at the end of the month.
Of course. All right. Take care. See you later.
Thanks, man. See you. Bye.